Hey guys, this is Alan with a new episode of Devil May Play.
Hey guys, Trip here, and I'm here with GameLark talking about.
Things that we're thankful for. So here's one thing I'm thankful for, and I'm pretty embarrassed to share this. I'm thankful because I finally figured out why my voice sounds so weird when I'm recording this podcast, and the answer is that I'm sitting too far away. And I realized this because we did an episode where I leaned into the microphone to take a diss at Nintendo, and I listened to the audio and I was like, son of a bitch, that's exactly how I wish I sounded all the time. So now I'm sitting about half a foot closer to my mic, and hopefully there's a difference now.
Yeah, man, I talk so close to the microphone, it's ridiculous. That's why I have a pop filter, because I mean, you can already hear my sometimes, and but the pop filter helps a lot because I got to be close, otherwise my voice doesn't sound like textured enough. So yeah. It makes a huge difference.
And it's tough because I'm kind of naturally a loud person, so I have to talk at like a more restrained level.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So another thing that I'm thankful for, I'm going to do a quick shout out for a new podcast. Well, they're not new, but I found them recently, called Geek 30. And I've been following some of their stuff. They have a really cool podcast for anyone that's into geeky things, and I'm guessing if you're listening to this, you are.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. And they do beer reviews, they do geeky news, they do light discussion, kind of similar things that we talk about, but a little bit more varied. And just wanted to give a quick shout out to them. So check them out. Anything that you wanted to mention that you're thankful for? Anything you've been playing recently or any movies you've seen?
Well, you know how cynical I can be on this show, so allow me to try and be positive. So, I guess one thing I'm thankful for is a glimmer of hope I'm seeing in the open world sandbox genre. And we're going to be talking about this later, if not in this episode, then in subsequent episodes. But Watch Dogs 2, and how after all the terrible things we've said about Ubisoft, at least it seems like they're starting to get it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talked a lot about, and you made a brilliant point in one of our first podcasts about open world games and sandbox games and side activities, and when they come off as derivative and repetitive, or when they come off as, fun and engaging. And it's such a difficult balance and a difficult line that, both of us can agree that Ubisoft has definitely gotten wrong in the past. But with Watch Dogs 2, it seems like they're kind of coming into their stride. So I guess I want to give a shout out to Ubisoft, because as much as we,
I can't believe it.
as much as we honestly, as much as we bitch and moan about them, I like Ubisoft, and I know nobody would believe that from any of our discussions, but I like Ubisoft.
They've definitely published some great games.
Right. And it's like, despite all of the bullshit, I feel a similar way about Ubisoft as I do about Bethesda.
Right.
Despite all the bullshit, I give them so much bullshit because I know there's talent in that company. It's like Ubisoft is kind of like Darth Vader. There's good in that company still, and I want to bring it out.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is somewhat of a side note, and I guess another thing that I'm thankful for, and call me crazy, I know a lot of people are not excited for this, but I'm cautiously optimistic about the new Assassin's Creed movie. And I know, first of all, I just want to say, if I haven't said this before on the podcast, anyone that complains about music in a trailer, about the fact that they're using whatever music and complaining about how that's going to ruin the film, you're an idiot. Trailers are trailers. The Warcraft trailer had dubstep in it. Did they have any dubstep in the movie? No. So my point is, I think that I have hope for this movie for a couple of reasons. They have a lot of big name actors, or at least well-known actors in Hollywood, right? Like Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard. I don't know how to say her name. Some of the action scenes I've seen are incredible. They really try to do a lot of live stunts, which in this day and age, a lot of stuff is done with CG. So it'll be refreshing to see some really good stunt work, which, a lot of that game was fun because of the parkour nature of it. To see it on screen is going to be cool. And I'm sure that it's not going to, live up to all of our dreams, but I think that it could be the beginning of what I think would be the next wave of movies, which is video game adaptations, because we've talked about this before, but There's always phases in Hollywood, and the superhero phase has been going strong for many years. And if you remember, for many years, there were a lot of bad superhero movies before there were any good ones. And Ubisoft, this is the first movie that I think has a chance because Ubisoft has had such a strong role in the process. Like every other video game company basically just sells the license that says, all right, fingers crossed, I hope you do well. And then you get Super Mario Brothers. So
or you get literally anything Uwe Boll has ever made in his life.
I think I've seen, is that he didn't do what was the one horror zombie movie that he did that was just bad, doesn't even begin to describe him.
Was it Alone in the Dark?
No, it was another one. It was one where they're on an island, and I can't remember the name of it. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. I'm not going to remember it because it was so atrocious.
Right. Quick little anecdote. People complain and people are split on the Warcraft movie, but I will give you this little bit of silver lining. So I heard that Uwe Boll immediately contacted Blizzard to say, hey, I want to make that Warcraft movie you want to make. And Blizzard said, no, fuck off.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. And that was the right decision.
That was the only decision. They
also had like a Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is not video games. But the thing is, this is the issue. You don't have... All right, let me ask you like this. Okay, aside from a few movies here and there, aside from the Spider-Man trilogy, well, the first two movies, and then the Batman trilogy from Nolan, what films like really superhero films did not start becoming consistently good or at least decent until Marvel Films, the Marvel Film Studio, emerged. And they started with Iron Man and they went from there. What happened? They had a lot of creative control over the characters. And I think with Ubisoft, they already have plans for a Splinter Cell movie, and they already have plans for wasn't there one more? I'm trying to think. I know it's Splinter Cell, maybe Rainbow Six. I'm not sure. But some of these films, like, they would be easy adaptations because they're nothing too far out there. Like, it wouldn't be like trying to adapt like Beyond Good and Evil or something like that. Or they tried
We're still waiting for a sequel for that.
I know. But I'm saying like Splinter Cell would just be like an espionage movie. And even with Assassin's Creed, like if you watch the trailers, they don't really push the video game nature very much. Like they don't really make it very well known. It's not like from the best-selling video game series. It's just Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed coming soon. You know what I mean? So I think that could be a good sign that they're not trying to push the adaptation nature of it, so that if the general audiences don't know, it's like, oh, because I think there is definitely that stigma right now that video game movies are shit, for better or for worse.
Was around for a pretty good reason. But back to being really obnoxiously cynical. One thing, my experience with the Assassin's Creed movie hype, I saw the trailer. I was like, eh. And then the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like it. Like, for example, what the hell is with the Animus?
That I know why they did that, though. We're supposed to be talking about things we like.
It just looks goofy. I'm sorry.
No,
it just
okay.
looks so goofy, and there's no reason for it. Like, if you need action, like, have the action be in the Animus. Like, we don't need, like, it's one of those things. It's kind of like when in the Ninja Turtle movie, they had to try and make up this explanation for why Bebop and Rocksteady became, those animal things. And instead of just saying, oh, it was a bunch of green goo that turned them into monsters, they came up with this whole explanation to try and make it more realistic, but it just ended up being more ridiculous. I feel like the Animus is a similar thing. It's like, oh, well, he has to feel like he's moving around in the Animus and doing all this stuff. He really doesn't, and your solution to a non-existent problem is just making it more silly.
So that's what Psychotrip is thankful for? I'm just teasing you.
All right, let's get back
I'm just messing with you, man.
I know.
What about what game? How about you give me an upcoming game that you're excited about and why?
It's really funny. Okay, so this is going to get back to me, you guys wondering what the hell is wrong with me and what I'm smoking. So a game that I'm very, very, very excited for is actually Watch Dogs 2. I'm waiting for it to come out on PC. I have very much wanted to play it. I've been watching playthroughs and everything. One of my friends I was talking to the other day, and I didn't even notice this until he mentioned it, but one of my friends was saying, Trip, I haven't seen you this excited for a game in a long time. And I don't know why. I think it's just, I wanted Watch Dogs 1 to be good. And
Mm-hmm.
unlike a lot of people, and I still don't really understand what people were expecting from Watch Dogs 1, because I more or less ignored it until right before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't part of the whole hype thing. So I played it. I'm like, all right, this is an all right game, but I want to see what they do next. And then everybody hated it so much, and I can't really blame them, but everyone hated it so much that I was kind of worried what a sequel would look like, or even if they would ever make one.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been really cautiously optimistic about the sequel, especially because, Ubisoft's kind of checkered past and track record. And the more I saw about it, the more kind of optimistic I became until just a couple days before it released, I started watching one of those YouTubers who does long plays, without any commentary or anything. The one I've been looking at in particular, his name is The Relaxing End. Very interesting name, but if anybody wants to look him up, he does a lot of long plays with no commentary, and he's a Twitch streamer as well. So yeah, I've been watching it, and everything looks great. Like it has not everything I would want in an open world game, but everything I could realistically ask for in an open world game. The world is dynamic. Things go on without your input. Something as simple as seeing cops go after somebody else other than you, and being able to manipulate that event, being able to turn different groups of people against each other, just the kind of chaos you can cause. Like, I saw this guy, he forged somebody's identity and made him look like a criminal to call the cops on him. The cops come, get into a shootout with the gang. Meanwhile, the main character is controlling everyone's cars, making everybody run into each other. An explosion happens. The fire department comes. He takes control of the fire engine and starts making it run over everybody. It's just the kind of chaos and emergent gameplay that comes from that is pretty much all I can realistically ask for an open world game. As long as it's engaging, as long as there's stuff to do, as long as the stuff you do doesn't become repetitive because of the emergent nature of the world. I mean, what else can you really ask for in an open world sandbox? So yeah, I guess I'm really thankful for what I hope will be a great experience with Watch Dogs 2.
I was going to say, it looks like they basically, I won't say they went full Saints Row with it, but they definitely departed from like the very gritty, moody tone of the first one. Yeah. And they placed it in San Francisco. I think I watched Super Bunny Hop's review of it, and I was surprised that he liked it so much. And I got to admit, I mean, it's not on my immediate list. I can see why you're excited about it. I just have been burned out on the Ubisoft formula, but I will say that there's a lot of things that are cool. The formula isn't
there. The formula isn't. It's not like
the unlock isn't there
or anything.
Right.
Like everything else is just like. Well, because the thing with the Ubisoft formula is, and I'll let you make your point, but the thing about the Ubisoft formula that makes it so bad, which is what we talked about before, is the execution. Mm-hmm. Because remember we were comparing it to Witcher 3, and The Witcher 3 does a lot of similar things, but the execution is so much better.
Right.
And we were trying to get off what makes it so much more engaging in The Witcher 3 than in Ubisoft.
Yeah. Well, I know that. And I what I'm saying is I'm not 100% sold on it, but I'm definitely paying attention to it, and I may eventually pick it up. And the things that I've seen, like what you're talking about, where you can call the cops and all that stuff, and even just like the tone of it is completely different from the first one. And I think that was a good change. There are some things I don't like about it, but we'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah. Stay positive.
Well, a current game that I'm playing that I'm really having a lot of fun with is Dishonored 2, because we talk a lot about player choice. And right. I've done the math, and there's potentially 8 playthroughs to go through just for this one. Like, there's without spoiling too much. You can play as either the Empress or her father, the Royal Protector, and there's the 2 totally different. I wouldn't say stories, but you get different dialogue and you get different interactions. You're still doing the same missions, but you have different like power-ups and weapons and whatnot. You can play high chaos or low chaos, which is a really cool system that I like, because as we talked about before, it gets old doing the good versus bad, right. Like the Paragon Renegade type of thing. It's basically if you kill a lot of people, then there's going to be a lot of disease and famine, like a lot of disease spreading through the city. And that makes sense. So there's weight to your consequences. Now, right. Me being a horrible person that I am, I still murder every single guard in the game. Like, I will make it a point. And I was watching a playthrough of someone that just went in guns blazing, and surprisingly, I don't take that approach. I like to sneak up on them. My favorite two methods are to either sneak up on them and slit their throat, obviously, or to use a crossbow from a long distance and just kill one person, and then I had a whole bunch of them come together, and then I shot a flaming bolt, and it just, all of them caught on fire. So I have fun just just brutally murdering people. That's what makes me happy. That's what I'm thankful for. Virtual murder. And finally, the other choice that you can have in the game, I don't want to reveal, but essentially, it's a final choice that's pretty important, and it drastically changes the way that you can play the game. So I'm happy that, it's like we say, we complain about Bethesda and Ubisoft because we love them, and they have brought us some good games, and we're worried. We're worried that they've made some poor design decisions. It's not like they've just outright become EA, although EA has even changed a little bit in the past. And then I guess, real quick, the other thing that I'm really excited for, which now because of things going on with work, I may not be able to see it opening night, Star Wars Rogue One, which oh my God, so mad.
When is that? When is the release date?
16th, I think, which is like a couple weeks from now.
Oh man, I'm so excited for that. You don't even know.
I get emotional to the point of tears when I think about how much I love Star Wars, and that's not even a joke. Like, I'll just be like walking around my house, like doing laundry, and I'm just like, I'm just like, I'll start thinking about like my history with Star Wars and how I got into it when I was little, and I'm just like, they're still going. I'm so happy. Like,
I feel you, man. I feel the exact same way.
Isn't it? Oh man, I'm gonna forget the developer. There's some developer. Respawn, I think, is doing it. Respawn Entertainment, the developers of Titanfall 2. I think that they're doing a Star Wars game. I read that somewhere.
I'm not. Let me look that up. But I know that there's another development studio, the people who made I think it's the people who made Dead Space, that are doing a Star Wars game as well. And we really don't know much about it yet. It's been kind of shrouded in mystery. But I think it's
Star
either
Wars
open world or let me look up. You said Respawn Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's taking me somewhere. Okay. Star Wars Respawn Entertainment. So yeah, apparently there's something coming from there. I'm not sure if that's the same group that I'm thinking of, but yeah, I'm looking forward to anything Star Wars related.
Well, the comics have been really good. Yeah. See, I mean, Battlefront was fun to play the beta, and then I got the full game, and I was like, oh, meh. But, I mean, I want another game like Rogue Squadron. Like, Rogue Squadron, to me, there have been games in my life that have just allowed me to fulfill a fantasy, and I'm not talking sexual fantasies. I'm talking like
why can't it be both?
Honey Pop. Man. Oh, man. You get to be like Jabba the Hutt and recruit, like, dancer girls. Yeah, like Pod Racer, Rogue Squadron. Those have been like the Star Wars games that have like allowed me to enter that universe in a different way, especially Pod Racer.
With me, it was Pod Racer and Knights of the Old Republic.
Right, and Coder obviously is huge.
Yeah,
and they expanded the lore.
I've talked about Knights of the Old Republic before. That was my first role-playing game, man.
Yeah, that's what got you on that
changed
road.
My life.
What about movies? Are you excited for anything? Like, what's a movie, not Star Wars, coming up that you're excited for?
Well, I really want to see Doctor Strange.
You still haven't seen it?
I know, right? My friends are coming to town, and well, they're in town now. They just got here, so we're either going to see it on Thanksgiving or the day after. So I really want to see that, and I also want to see Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them because, yes, I am a nerd. And I really would like to see more Harry Potter related stuff that's not necessarily just about Harry Potter.
But this has nothing to do with the film. Because I've had a designated driver for the past 3 or 4 months. Okay. That's another thing I'm thankful for. I'm gonna have a kid in March. But back to the story. That's an aside. That's not nearly as important as Star Wars. My kid is gonna listen to this one day and be like, "This is why you hate me." I went to a beer place called Beerteca, and it's near where I live, and there was pizza and beer, and I drank too much beer, and then I got sleepy, so I fell asleep like a couple times, not because of the movie, but like I was pretty drunk when I went there, and I was trying so hard to stay awake. I'm like, this is the new movie from J.K. Rowling, why? And then I just like wake up every couple minutes, and I'm like, okay, so I got about like 3/4 of the movie, and it's fun. I think you'll enjoy it.
All right, cool.
I won't say anything as far as spoilers go, but it certainly feels fresh. Like if the prequels had been done much better, like it doesn't feel like a retread. It feels like, oh, cool, this is a new world. It's America. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say, another thing I'm thankful for, something I wanted to recommend to you. I don't know if you got my tweet or direct message about this. Have you heard of a movie called The Witch?
Yes, I haven't seen it.
Oh my God.
I've heard of it, and apparently it's really good. Didn't it come out a while ago?
Yeah, it came out like a year ago, but I don't know how you haven't seen it, given your love of all things like what do you call it? New England folklore.
Yeah.
It is right up your alley. So
I really got to see that movie.
And I guess it is scary. I can't handle scary movies very well. To be quite honest with you, I was looking at my phone, searching through Reddit, and just looking at Facebook while I was watching it because I couldn't just focus on the movie or I'd get too freaked out. Like I had to be doing something else. Like, this isn't real. This isn't real.
Yeah, see, I can handle horror movies just fine, but I can't handle our horror video games.
Oh, okay.
I guess one thing I've been thankful for is a game I just purchased that I'm going to do a video on later on. I think it's called Dead End Drive or Dead End Road or something. Let me see. Yeah, Dead End Road. Yeah. Wait, no. Yeah, whatever. I'll figure it out in a minute.
We'll put it in the description.
It's one of those things because I don't have Steam open, so I can't see the name. But it's this old style, almost like PS1 looking game that's intentionally really lo-fi and creepy looking, and it's a horror driving game, if you can believe that. And it's a roguelike, so you die once and you have to start over.
Oh, okay.
And basically, it's one of those classic stories of guy makes a deal with the devil, because why would you ever do that? But he does, and then the forces of evil are chasing you, and the only way you can stop the curse is by collecting these items throughout the city. And meanwhile, you're trying not to go insane, crash your car. You're trying to survive. It's freaking terrifying, but it's great. I can barely get through it because, again, even though I'm perfectly fine with horror movies, I'm terrible with horror games.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm the same way. I played Resident Evil 4 pretty well, and 5 wasn't scary to me.
Right.
Amnesia, no.
Oh,
just
God.
no. Just no. That game is, just no. I played with my friend a while back, and like the first time we saw the monster or whatever, like it was bad. I guess I want to say a final thing that I'm thankful for. As for anyone that's following me from GameLark, we'll find out soon enough. We're doing an episode next week, which is going to be kind of an important episode, I think, for my creative journey, I guess is the best way to put it without sounding too pretentious. But essentially, I'm starting up a few new projects that I've had on the back burner, writing being one of them. And I'm doing a channel called Alan Brash soon, just to kind of be a catch-all for all my, like, it's going to be somewhat similar to this with discussion, but shorter. Just my personal thoughts on like movies and video games, and then maybe a few short stories that I've done, putting it up there. But I'm excited to get back into storytelling, I think is the best way to put it. And I've got some creative ideas that I want to get out there, and like it's time. I've had a lot of, I've been writing since I was 15, and I've always just been kind of afraid to put it out there. And, given the stuff that I've learned from GameLark and even this channel, I know the importance of like putting stuff out there and finding people that like your stuff and finding fellow creators. I think it's always good to do that. So I'm really excited for that as well. What about you? Any other final good trends, good feels, good vibes?
I mean, not anything on the level of what you're about to start doing, but I mean, honestly, I'm thankful for, this is going to sound so ridiculous and silly and gushy, I'm thankful for this channel, honestly, because I mean, I feel like I like what we're
Oh,
doing. I feel like, yeah, aw.
you can make me
I like what
cry.
we're doing. I feel like we talk about great stuff, and I love everybody who watches this and can put up with the two of us talking about nerdy stuff like it's the most important thing in the world. So, yeah, I mean, and I'm going to watch this again and just think this is so corny for saying, but I am thankful for this channel and my channel and your channel and everything we've been doing. I think we're on to something pretty cool. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I agree. And I think, yeah, I guess we're thankful for the geek community. That's what you're trying to say. We're
Yeah.
thankful for people that are passionate and aren't afraid to share it. And I think I'm getting on my soapbox, so get ready. This is the best time for it right now because
Yeah.
for so long we've known this. We grew up when these things, video games and comic books were seen as nerdy and not cool. And now, like, I feel like you could be open and free about it. Like, I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine who lives overseas, and he's a big gamer, and he was like, do women in your country think it's really weird if you play video games? I was like, not really. I mean, some,
Not
but
anymore.
I was like, I mean, I have lots of friends who play video games and are married or have girlfriends. Like, it's not like a social outcast thing anymore. And he's like, oh, over here we don't even talk about it. I was like, that sucks.
Where is he from? Russia?
I don't know. Well, he's from the Netherlands, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they're doing other things. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm trying to say that we have like just the geek community in general, I think, is a really strong one. And I know this because every time I go to like a convention or I went to a show recently, band called the Dillinger Escape Plan they were doing a farewell tour, and it was just mind-boggling. Like the sense of community that you feel, like you can immediately go up to somebody and start talking about like, oh, which album is your favorite, and how long you've been listening to them. Or if you're at a comic convention, you can start talking about like what new movie you're excited for, a TV show. It's like it gives us like a commonality. I think it's like a really cool thing that binds us together, and it's just, like I said, a lot of passion and a lot of love for it. So there you go. I'm off my soapbox now.
All right.
And if any of you want to say what you're thankful for, we'll be that corny and say, put it in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Whatever is on your mind, whatever you're thankful for. I mean, yeah, I'll listen to it.
Alrighty. That wraps it up.
Well, all right. Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you.